I missed this week. I couldn't attend any. But, I hope to be making a frequent attendance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I know is that basically we're going to be pausing the rewards because 4 of us are going to be on vacation in the reward board for at least like 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And so we did the last reward distribution that went out that included source cred. And so we got that working, we got it figured out, and then we'll just like pick up where we left off in like 3 weeks. I don't think there's any development updates. The quantifications, we just finished the last one on Monday. And then again, we'll be taking a break basically until I come back from Burning Man. And then just do like a big catch up.
Burning Man. I know Septi's going right. He's been telling me all about it.
Yeah, me and Zepti will be there together.
Well, nice. So I hope it goes well. Maybe I'll join you next.
Yeah, it's pretty big. There's a lot going on there, but hopefully it goes well.
Nice.
Did you ever talk to Nugget about the RAD dashboard or the RAD tool?
Yes. So he told me a bit about it and the structure of it. And well, I said I was gonna.
Sorry, your audio's cutting out a little bit.
Sorry, I was just closing the window.
Oh yeah.
Yes. He told me about it. I had a discussion with him, and I said I was gonna basically try compare the distributions between praise and non-praise. So try and get an understanding of what praise is being good at. As in, is it capturing other streams of value which aren't being captured by monetary value already?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to take a look at that. I haven't done much work on it yet, aside from I've basically got I've basically got a script to just download me the history of transactions for the working groups, and I'm going to try and match up the different sources you've got. So the user to wallet address table, some of the historic distributions, and then just compare it to a XDAI outgoings historic table, just by user, filtered by the users which are in praise, and just try and see if there's a much difference between the monetary and praise systems, or if there isn't, just to see what I can see in there. There might be something there. There might not be. Maybe praise is capturing absolutely nothing. Maybe the praise distribution is completely different.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you could see like we tried to do this like, hey Nate, by the way.
How's it going?
Good. I don't think there's a meeting, like a formal meeting today. I know that Nugget and Christopher are on vacation.
Oh yeah,
but
sorry.
I guess
I
that's the
didn't mean to
calendar.
interrupt the one-on-one or anything like that. I was just trying to catch up on everything. So
no, it's
my
cool. Like
apologies.
Rex is here, so I think we'll just chill and we can go over anything or field any questions.
Okay. Do you mind if I listen in? If not, I can.
No,
There's
you're
no
fine.
problem
Listen
there.
in.
Okay.
Listen
Cool.
in. So you can see like we tried to capture like other forms of contribution through source cred, but ultimately it failed because source cred is no longer maintained. So that was a huge blocker.
Yeah. No, I understand. I just want to see the realization, like what's happening. Maybe we can see something in the data that we haven't been able to before. Because I know you were playing around with trying to nerf basically or reduce the praise for people that are already getting money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Not the
might be,
praise necessarily, but the rewards, right?
yeah. So
Cool.
there might be something to see there. I don't know. I'll let you know because I have some time this week to do it. I didn't have some
Yeah.
time in 2 weeks.
I mean, it's all open source, right? So, I mean, if you want to plug it in and make a new analysis and find a way to present it, then, I mean, by all means.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
What's that?
That was it really from my side. I don't know. Yeah, like I know source cred. You're saying it was a maintain. No, Nogan gave a bit more kind of insight on that. He was saying that it was a pain in the neck basically to build to get all the data out of it or to try and use it. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
it was super difficult. I don't even know how to do that. Cool. Let's put some points here. Um, so like I was saying to Rex, Nate, we're kind of going to be on hiatus for maybe about 3 or 4 weeks because Nugget, myself, Zepti, and Christopher are all going to be on vacation. That's most of the decision making slash like people actively working will be gone.
Yeah, I and in terms of things that I'm kind of focused on with the treasury stuff, I really wanted to ask you about Runway in terms of the reward system and whether we should be incorporating a priority to fund the rewards with TEC tokens through that treasury, because
Through the
I
common
feel
pool.
like or through the gains from our treasury, and that way you wouldn't have to go through the common pool. And I wasn't sure if that was something that was feasible or a good idea or not. It's something that we kind of commented on and discussed a little bit, but I don't know.
In the treasury.
So yeah, one of the setting it as like one of the goals for the treasury would be to provide outside of our first investment strategy for like the first like 3 months or so was to actually fund the reward system.
Mm-hmm.
But it limits the growth of the treasury, but it's also without TEC tokens, it's kind of hard to keep people engaged. And so I'm wondering how big of a concern this is for the rewards working group.
Well, I don't know if Nugget posted it, but we were planning on asking for another. Oh, that's not the right garden.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 months of runway, right?
Yeah, did he post it in the gardens? Because that should go up, actually.
I don't think it went in the gardens. I think it's still in the forum.
Because that'd be cool if we could get some conviction.
Yeah.
While we're away. So basically, yeah, I think we still have We've 20K TEC still in the reward board.
And what are you averaging, like 4,000 TEC per distribution round per month?
Yeah, we have 4,000 per month that we can put out.
Okay.
Um,
So that gets
and
us
so
to like a little bit past the end of the year, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a bit more because we added on the source cred rewards, which are going to be in addition to praise rewards,
Okay.
and that'll be only for the next 10 rounds. Because we basically calculated like a flat amount of source cred amount to give to people, and then we vest it over 10 rounds.
Yeah. And so, yeah, my biggest concern is that, you know, if the rewards working group is going to have to keep going through conviction voting to acquire TEC tokens, it's going to be rough. You know, like it's kind of, I don't know. I think I would like to see, you know, some positive use of treasury gains in the short term and allow us to gradually grow. But I don't know. It's just really I just was trying to gauge the kind of,
Mhm.
you know, long-term roadmap.
Well, by design, if you want to get anything out of the common pool, it has to go through conviction voting anyway.
Yep.
So we're stuck there unless you do some sort of spooky contract magic.
Yeah. One of the big downsides to our current, like the ABC stuff, is that we only have a limited amount of TE tokens minted, and the only way to mint new ones is to actually go through the ABC, and so that becomes a bit problematic in terms of how we manage it, because I think the laser tag wallet has like 50,000 left TEC tokens. You guys will be depleted by the end of the year, and we have to figure out how to have more organizational ownership over TEC tokens.
Organizational.
But
well, are you saying there's not enough TEC tokens minted?
yeah, exactly.
Well, we just mint more. We take the 20K out of the treasury and then we buy more out of the ABC.
Okay, so directly from the ABC?
Yeah, we just add on like whatever the entry tribute onto whatever we request, which I think it already is in that 20K. So we mint it right from the ABC, a little bit goes back into the treasury, and then we're using our own system.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that was an okay system for you guys and sustainable. Or if
Yeah,
the
the only
treasury
thing
should
is
get
that
involved.
obviously we have to plan ahead, right? So
Yeah.
if we've got 4 months left of rewards, more or less, then we should put up something now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's all I needed to really talk with you about, and I just wanted to kind of catch up with where the rewards working group is and trying to get a snapshot of all the different working groups. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I think things are pretty much going. Like, we cut the scope since source code didn't work out, and the way it is now with praise, I think is like an MVP. It's running pretty well.
Yeah.
People
and
are
how about the
quantifying.
quantification? Yeah.
We're getting good feedback to like improve the product in itself. We've got a really good analysis system. So I don't know. I feel like all the parts are there.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious to see. And do you have like a pool, a list of the pool of quantifiers, and is that automated for each?
A list of the
round?
quantifier pool?
Yeah.
Well, it's in the dashboard.
Okay.
I don't know if you can export it. Let's see here. Yeah, you can just go like this.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, that's weird. Yep. So you can see all the people there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Hey, by the way, is that something that either of you would be interested in doing?
Which part? Oh, quantification?
Quantification of praise?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but at the moment I am kind of overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff. So
Oh.
I
mean,
would
there
not
would only
be
be like
reliable.
a chance that you would get drafted and like you would be quantifying like 100 praise. So it would take you like half an hour, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that.
And you would
Sure.
get TEC tokens.
That sounds attainable. Yeah, sure. I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy. I'd like to join this.
Hmm.
On board, that's good, sir.
Are you in there, Rex? You're not.
Should
Did
be.
you activate your praise?
I believe so. It should
You
be.
typed in /activate in any channel in the TEC.
Yes.
What's your Discord handle? Is it Rex or is it something else?
So my account is activated in the price. It's R -X.
There you are. Sick. Look at that. Look at this system.
Beautiful.
Boom. Look, it's so nice. It's so easy to use.
What's it built on? Is it just React or?
Yeah, I think it's React. Hey, Fiavero.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Thanks. We're just there's no formal meeting today, so we're just having a quick chat about the reward system and answering any questions.
That's awesome. I'm actually quite new here in this, the T channel, and I want to sign up for the fundamentals, the one that's gonna begin soon, but I don't
Ooh.
really know how.
Ooh.
I can send you a link.
Yeah, Nate's got it. Perfect.
Yeah. Give me one moment, I'll DM you.
Thank you.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Do you guys have any more questions about the reward system or praise or anything?
No, actually, I'm pretty happy with it at the moment.
Cool.
I actually have a question about the source grid thing. So
Yeah.
we're doing that for a set period of time and then ending it. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically we just have one bulk amount that we calculated from everyone's cred score since the beginning of time. So I think it was like March 2021. Based on their GitHub and discourse contributions or their activity, and the weights that we chose. And then we assigned an amount. I think it was like 12,000 TEC, based total, and then distributed according to cred scores. And then we vest that 10% biweekly, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be 10 rounds, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just too hard to maintain, and so we just that was it.
Yeah. And so are we completely are we abandoning that realm of rewards in terms of like tangible
Yeah.
activity?
Yeah, right now it'll be all, well, after that it'll be all beyond praise.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, Christopher.
Hey, sorry, I forgot all about this meeting, or I was so intent on us posing the rewards payouts. I didn't think about the meeting.
Oh, it's cool. I wasn't even sure. I thought you were on vacation already.
No.
Oh, I can't hear you.
What are you discussing?
I was just having a chat, but there's not really any schedule, but some people joined, so I was just answering questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any actual updates. We did the review from the last round. We did the source cred and the praise payout successfully. So we're just kind of all wrapped up for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Cool. I actually, I'll make a GitHub issue for this, but there is some consistent feedback I've had for the praise system for the quantification.
Sure.
When people are quantifying, like say there's like a blanket praise, like we praise 5 or 6 different people in like the same instance of praise. People are saying it's hard for them to remember the scores that they gave to somebody else for the same instance of praise.
Yeah.
And so if there's like a way that they could like see on the same page what they scored that same praise to someone else.
The connection between that praise and the previous one with the same content is currently is broken, because each a praise being sent to multiple recipients is being split into individual praise. So the only way to find out the praise score that you gave to the previous praise with the same contents to another person would be to do like a free text search.
Yeah.
So it's quite inefficient. But yeah, I actually thought about that quite a long time ago when I did the quantifications myself, that, wanting to give the same score to these multi-recipient praise to the different people.
You would need to do a keyword search across many different praise recipients instead of just one.
For me to, what we could do would be to display like if you gave recipient A a score of 10, and then you're scoring recipient B, then we could say when it's time to score that sort of the same praise, we could highlight that next to that praise, saying like when you scored recipient A for the same praise, you gave that a 10.
Yeah,
So,
it could be as simple as like a hover tooltip,
Yeah. But finding that original praise would we would need to do a free text search on the praise reason to find
On
that praise.
every instance of praise, you would have to have that search, right?
Yeah, on the praise items that I am quantifying, I don't need to search the whole praise system. Of course, it's only in those 150 praise or whatever that I'm.
That was from
quantifying.
the active round.
Yeah. So it's and we could do the
generate-
search client side, so we wouldn't have to put any load on the system.
Yes. Another thing you could do is pre-generate these, right? So you could create some sort of keyword association, and so basically have like some sort of dictionary that attaches the word to some sort of integer, and then you just like you follow it. It's going to be a big dictionary, but you'd be able to just rather than do free text search, you can just split it by spaces and have a pre-built dictionary and just try and create each of the words and see the counts, do it that way, and then try and find ones that have a high match rate.
Yeah, but Mitch, what you were describing was like the exact same praise to another user, right? Not as a similar praise.
No, it's similar. So you can do word by word. So say if it's
That is interesting, but I'm just wondering if
We're talking about
if
two
Mitch
different things,
describes
though.
something different.
Because for the like in a specific case is when I write a piece of praise and I praise, Rex, Nate, and Christopher for doing this thing that maybe they all worked on together. But
Right.
then when I do the flow, if we look here, for example, I don't think I'll be able to get into it, but each recipient will have their own separate page of praise that they received. So when I'm doing Rex's praise, and maybe I already scored Christopher's, I can't remember the score that I give Christopher when I'm quantifying Rex for the same action, the same group action. So the user has to go flipping back in between pages to find out what they gave.
Right.
It can be done, but both of the things can be done. Of course, Rix, what you're describing, identifying similar praise, it could of course be done. And Mitch, what you're describing, identifying the exact copy of a praise to another person could also be done. It's just a question of how to communicate that information to the quantifier. Let's say if you for some reason are assigned to quantify receivers, and you have 3 of the receivers you have are supposed to quantify all get the same praise, and you have already quantified 2 of them. Should we display both those previous scores, or just one, or the average, or how would
Yeah, I just put this is our notes from the last session, and so this is where it was more explicitly the feedback was received from the quantifiers. And then Phil has like another point that he was trying to make. So the first point is the one that we just covered, and then the second would be how they have typically scored over their entire history of quantification. And I think that builds into the categories and keywords system that Z-Way built into the RAD. And that might be something like a bigger issue to tackle.
Oh, you have I'm not getting this one yet.
The second point.
Wait, Chris, if it's the exact same praise, you don't need to do a free text search. You can do the hash of every praise and compare that.
Yeah, I thought of that. That would be an easy optimization to do, just do a hash of the praise reason and to optimize the search.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Make it.
I'm gonna try and capture this in a GitHub issue, or if somebody wants to take it, Rex or someone.
Unless someone else does it, I can write the issue, but I'm happy to get more people involved writing praise issues. So
yeah, I mean, Rex, if it sounds like you have a lot of ideas, so I mean, if you want, I can show you the repo and you can, get all your thoughts down there.
Okay, sure, but it's like I'm still pretty new, so on this system. So I'm trying to be as constructive as possible, but I might get some things wrong. So
it's all right. It's an easy way to get started. Just making GitHub issues is,
all right.
Dip your toes in the water. Cool.
And what was the second thing that Phil was thinking?
So it was like historically, how have they quantified something that's in the same category, right?
So for me as a quantifier, how have I quantified similar praise previously?
Yeah, and
the message from the system would be like, previously you have been giving these type of praise, this type of average score, sort of.
Yeah, because Phil mentioned he has like an internal scoring system for categories, and that's just something that you try to remember when you're going through the thing, right? But if you're like, what do I score this again? And trying to be consistent rather than arbitrary, in the moment.
His internal system of scoring is tied to his internal system of categorizing the praise.
Right. So he visually sees and he's Go ahead, Christopher. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For in order for us to build hints that are valuable, would mean that we would have to do a similar analysis as Phil did, as to the categorization of the praise. If we categorize the praise differently, then the suggestions would be off in when he reads them, because he has another set of, he categorizes the praise differently. This seems to me like a difficult one to implement. It's I sometimes see certain features sort of like describe them as a Microsoft features, or like Word, Excel features. It's the kind of features where the system tries to automate stuff for you based on assumptions that are not right. So, for instance, based on the assumptions that you would like to have a punctuation every time you hit this and this key, or that when you write a certain word, that it would be auto-formatted with in a certain way, like Word can do these weird automations. And the initial, the initial idea is good based on the assumption made by the person writing the code, but then other people come along and they have other assumptions on how this automation should or should not work, and it sort of just becomes weird. What I'm saying is, I think it's difficult to implement this in a way that would feel right for many people.
What about just like, instead of using categorizations, we just have keywords? So it's like it could be just like, you historically have scored praise with this keyword this amount.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe it's a little bit over engineering, but anyway,
Yeah.
this is what I've heard.
Yep.
But I think the first one that we talked about, I've definitely heard more than once.
And free text searches or hashing the praise reason to find the sibling of a praise is totally doable, but the long-term solution is to allow praise to have multiple recipients, basically, which we do. When sending the praise, we allow for multiple recipients or multiple receivers, but internally in the system, it gets split up into separate praise items, and that is a design choice. So we did it to simplify some stuff, but it's wrong. It's so sometime in the quite near, we'd like to change the praise data schema to allow one praise item to have multiple recipients, and then we wouldn't have this problem at all, because then you would you wouldn't need to find the sibling, because there is only one praise with one praise reason. So then one praise would instead have to be, we would need to be able to connect multiple quantifications from multiple quantifiers to one praise for one, whatever. That leads to some other complications, but it's better complications.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep. Cool. Well, I don't really have anything else to talk about.
If someone is up to hearing more vague ideas, I have lots of things to throw out. I would be happy just to hear some of your thoughts on a conclusion I made, and hear if I'm making the right or the wrong assumptions. It's regarding the future of RAD.
talking about just like what did we say in the last meeting? Let's look here. Oh, I didn't even write it down.
No. Okay.
Oh, here it
I'll
is.
throw it.
Community analysis and reporting tool. We did
Yeah.
it 2 weeks ago.
So this is a continuation to that. I've done more research, and what I think I have concluded is that, yeah, imagine us having some sort of data analysis engine, sort of, where we can feed multiple data streams into. So we can feed this or an events data engine that we can feed data. We can feed rewards data and activity streams. So we can feed the praise information into this engine. We can feed the Discord like meeting tracker information. We can feed discourse activity or token log activity or whatever. I think I need to share screen for this. See. But it won't let me.
Are you still looking for the?
Yeah. I'm Discord won't let me. There. Add, maximize and minimize again. This would be some sort of architecture overview of the next generation of RAD, where we have this events data engine in the center, and we have to the left a bunch of sources feeding data into that data engine. And the main purpose of that data engine is to store the data and making it available to consumers that does things with the data. So one of the main things to do with the data is to analyze it the same way that we have analyzed using RAD, and that is the thing down to the right, in the right corner. The Python-based analysis tool is what we used to call RAD. And then we can do other stuff as well. We can generate token distributions, or we can export the data to Ceramic to create this independently verifiable proofs of contributions or activity, and to use it as a source of reputation and that kind of stuff. So all this is this is what I've been discussing with Livy. Livy also wants to take RAD into this direction of not just analyzing rewards, but being able to analyze any kind of activity stream related to what goes on in a DAO or in a community. So in this case, I've just modeled the meeting tracker, discourse, and token log as 3 examples of producers. But after looking more into detail on how to set this up, I think I've come to the conclusion that it's way too complicated, and it will always be too complicated for most communities. Like just managing these 4 streams. Imagine having to run a server where you have praise, and you should make sure that praise can feed data into this system, and you have Discord, discourse, and token log, and you need to somehow, even though we have built a super sleek this events data engine or a plugin interface or whatever, even we made a super nice work, someone still needs to maintain these data sources and make sure that they, that discourse is accessible, that maybe Discord updates their API, something happens, and then you need to, have someone needs to care for this over time. And so what the question I wanted to throw out is this even feasible to think that a community could manage a system like this, even, given that the sort of the tech stack in the center is that is easily manageable. This thing, it just runs. You never have to deal with that. But sorry, this is a vague question. But And any thoughts?
I think it's feasible. I mean, if we're looking at open source, and it's the same way as like when a browser updates itself and then you have to update the extensions that you use. Like, it's not up to us to constantly be keeping up on the things. It's the people who built the plugins, right? So you build this plugin that feeds into this RAD tool, and then there's the person who built it and the maintainer.
Yeah. So in theory, in your web browser, you have it on your computer. It's just a one button click. In this setup, it still would be this analysis server would be, it's a physical server running somewhere. You need to log in. You need to edit the config file. Perhaps we can make a some kind of dashboard. But still, it needs a system administrator to care for this. And so it's sort of based on some things I've noticed when working with the TEC. The kind of amount of headache we have had with source cred, and just I remember just for weeks and weeks trying to discuss with Matteo and getting updating the source cred config so that it tracks all the GitHub repositories we want, and then we add new repositories so that then maybe not all were tracked in the end. I think there were, but yeah, you see what I'm getting at. So a lot of it takes a lot of work to maintain a system with many components.
Yeah, to me it does look like, say, I think for the TEC it's manageable. If you're asking me, because is it manageable for a DAO whose main goal isn't praise? Now that's maybe not, or maybe they need to have someone else help them, and then TEC it's basically doing SaaS.
Yeah, so those are the two options then. Or there are three options to not push forward with this idea at all. The most boring option, and the second option is to instead plan for a software as a service thing, where we say you don't have to host your own server, you don't have to install your plugins, etc. You pay us a monthly fee, whoever us is, if it's the DAO analysis DAO or whatever who offers this service to the world, or the third option would be like a service DAO. If you plan to use this, we recommend that you make let this service DAO have a retainer, have a monthly fee where an actual individual that knows how servers and stuff take care of your installation.
Yeah. That would make more sense in my eyes.
The service DAO rather than the software as a service route.
So what the service DAO versus software as a service? I'm not understanding the difference you mentioned, but even if we make the installation as simple as possible, have a bunch of Docker containers which are already kind of interconnected, and then the config files are fairly simple, it's still going to be a pain in the neck to set this up.
Yeah. That's what I've noticed with setting up Praise as well. We have, we have exactly what you described, a bunch of Docker containers. We have a Docker-based installation script, so you don't have to, the only dependency you have to have on the server is Docker, and then you can run the Docker-based setup. And still there is a fair amount of head scratching when setting it up. And this would be vastly more complex than just setting up the Praise system. because for all these source plugins, you would of course need to define some parameters like for the meeting tracker bot. In what channels would you follow, for instance, and what are the rules? How long you know? There are certain parameters to all of these. No, what I meant with the service, a service DAO would be there. We of course could be a general service DAO that serves a DAO with any like DevOps needs. It doesn't need to be only serving a DAO supporting this system. It could be, we help you set up your mail server and make sure your web server doesn't crash, etc. So like a DevOps DAO in general, and then so that would be one route, and the other one would be more of a RAD, this analysis tool and events data engine as a software as a service, a specific one.
Yeah.
But I think that idea is quite tempting.
Yes, it adds more value, but it adds even more complexity, right? Which I'm not sure whether they want that, or whether like the DAO structure itself would be manageable and the vision clear cut enough. I'm more in tune with the idea of a RAD DAO, if you will. Which it could then incorporate some of these other ideas, but should given that this is a complex enough structure, like if you stray away too much from the vision, it's gonna then become harder to maintain because you'll spend less time on it.
Yeah. And that is also an interesting idea to like a RAD DAO, and the purpose of that DAO is to sort of install and maintain these RAD instances in other DAOs, and all DAOs wanting to take to enjoy this service. Of course, we need to have to support the RAD DAO to do the work it needs to do somehow. Because one problem with hosting it as a monolith software as a service thing is that you sort of embark on a more startup-like journey, which is fun in a way, because then you would be tempted to offer this service for free to any DAO, and you would soon get hundreds of users or thousands of users, because you would want it to be free to sign up, and then somehow you need to try to monetize your biggest users, either by a monthly fee or something else. But then you need to bring in venture capital or other like major funding.
Just be a percentage of the rewards, I guess, maybe 0.1%, 0.5%, something like that.
Yeah, if the purpose of the analysis at most times or many times or still is to calculate a rewards distribution and to do that distribution, then yeah, that is a viable way consumers. So anyway, so this is just something I'm thinking about, and about for the future of RAD, and we'll be discussing more with Thorleif, who is involved in Giveth on Friday, to discuss the technicalities of the setup. We have been discussing using Apache Kafka as the events data engine, which is a events stream data platform engine. I don't know how to describe it. So to be continued. But if anyone, or Rex or anyone else, if you feel if this feels like an interesting topic to continue discussing and somehow be involved in, because we will try to. What we need to try to do is to formulate what the next generation of RAD could be, should be, how it should look and feel, and we want to describe that in like a product brief. And then Libby has talked to the people behind the proposal inverter, and they say that they would be happy to host the next generation RAD as one of their first projects that we could attempt to finance through the proposal inverter. So then the challenge would be, describe the project, the project, and then try to hook up a number of DAOs that would be willing to co-finance this using the proposal inverter, and then recruit and get going.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes, I haven't heard of Apache Kafka before. I'll take a look at it and see what it is.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly suited to do this thing where you have many sources of data. Many sources of data and many producers and many consumers, and they should be loosely coupled. So it's when you want to build a system that consists of parts that communicate asynchronously.
Is he using JDBC to connect all these sources, or how's it?
No, it's so Kafka is a sort of a message broker in the center, and it's using so it's a message broker, and it feeds all the data into logs. It's so every producer generates data in what is called a topic. So there would be a praise topic, and it basically is a log of JSON objects, and a static, or you cannot modify it afterwards. So you an event log. So it's perfectly suited also to bridge this and store copies of it on some kind of decentralized storage system like Ceramic or something. This event log, and basically you should be able to read. If you read the event log from start to from beginning to current time, you should be able to recreate the state of the system based on that information. So you track all events generated by the system. If you build a fully events based system, of course you can choose just to track some information. But if you choose that as your main or component in the center instead of maybe using a relational database, then that would be the goal. And it has the capacity to handle like millions and millions of topics and millions of messages per second. And it's so it's a bit of a corporate thing. It's Kafka is being used by LinkedIn and the biggest players in the industry to handle events and data streams.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll send you a link.
Yes, do. Oh, please do.
Sorry, Mitch, my rant is over.
Oh, nice. Cool. Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, but first and foremost, I'm really tempted by this to somehow make it into a a project that can involve many many DAOs. And sorry, I got interrupted. Yeah, I think it could be a really cool thing to create this slightly larger data analysis engine where all the activity streams from a DAO can be brought together and turned into insight and token distributions and analysis.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, that's a big topic.
Yeah, I mean, what I find in transparency and the few bits I've done there is specifically the lack of a system such as this.
Cool. Well, I think I want to just figure out before this meeting ends, when are we doing the next meeting? I probably won't be available to do this next week, so.
No, and Nugget is away next week as well, and we won't be doing any rewards distribution next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say we skip at least 1 week, and then when is Burning Man?
We'll probably be done like maybe the first week of September. Yeah, it could be like mid-September at the latest that will be done. So looking at least 3 weeks on my end, and Zepti probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we look at this, and you're gone for how long? Or you wanted to stop doing these? That's what I remember.
Yeah, I was thinking about stepping out stepping away from hosting these after you get back, and like I said, after maybe we do this praise year in review, this deeper analysis first.
Sure, but on my end, realistically, the next Wednesday would be 14th of September.
Yep. And then let's aim for that. It's a good place to make a pause as well, because now as the first source credit rewards payout is out, and we don't really have any things on the agenda other than daily business, like quantifications, new payouts, etc. So it's no.
Okay, so you're saying for not next week, but the week after that, do like a praise and review on the reward system call? Or am I not understanding?
No, what would be a praise interview?
Praise in review.
No, I think you need to be in on that, and Septi as well. So I think that'll have to wait until you get back.
Okay. Okay. So do we? Sorry, everyone, if this is boring, you're free to leave. But so then when is the next scheduled call? Assuming that myself and Zepti won't be available.
I think doing the rewards payouts and having the discussion about things that come up through the quantifications would be the main thing going forward. And since we're not doing those, we don't have much to discuss before we get started with the quantifications again. So I'd say once we get started with the quantifications, we start these meetings again.
Right. Yeah. The rewards could still keep going, technically, but without Nuggin I don't think anybody's going to do it. So
No, so he's gone this week and next.
mhm. So do you guys want to have a check-in that first week of September then? Sorry, I'm looking
Yeah,
at my calendar.
we can do that. I can make sure to
31st
also.
of August.
Yeah, sounds good.
On
And I can try to remember as well and to send a ping in the rewards system, the channel around this time every week to if someone has any questions or so. So I'll be available. I'll be because I'm working.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's it. We're 4 minutes over.
Great.
So yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Nate, Via Vera, Rex, awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. Appreciate that.
Thanks. See you.
All right,
Thanks
see you
a
guys.
lot. Bye.
Talk to you later.